Chief, our Council Vice President, or Council Commissioner now, Dick Dormer. Dick?
Hi. I'm enjoying this event. It's going great, and all we want everybody to do is have a lot of fun and really enjoy the Jubilee. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay?
Marty, balloons. Where are they from?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah. I thought at first this was a release. I was going to say, oh, that's cool. I was over there last night in Goodman, but I haven't seen it since.
Yeah,
So.
pretty cool.
Frank. Car's coming down here, Frank. Get a park right on the grass.
Well, I was supposed to hold up the reenactment, so I figured I'd lay in front of the car and run over.
This is rat racing. Rat racing, driver Vinny Anglaise from Ansonia, Connecticut. They race at Waterford Speedway. Order of the Arrow is the Society of Honored Campers. They do cheerful service for others. What?
28. Sure.
Whatever. These guys in here.
That's the 27th Connecticut Reenactment Group.
What ahead? What ahead?
I know where we train his board.
Down one run. Go ahead, nice and slow.
Jed. One from Huntington, Connecticut. That's Troop 101, Huntington, Connecticut. Next is Troop 28 from Huntington, Connecticut. And Cub Scouts from Pack 101, Huntington. 28, Shelton, Huntington area. Huntington, Cub Scout Pack 101. Ansonia's Cub Pack 7. Troop 50, sponsored by Varka. Followed by Troop 7, Ansonia. Troop 25, Shelton. Pack 25. Troop 11, Seymour. Followed by Troop 55, Shelton. Pack 9, Derby, Connecticut. Next we have Pack 3, Derby.
Action. Frank, come up here. Come right here, bro. What's your first? We'll fix him. We'll fix him. Let's go. David. There we go. Look good.
Troop 65, Seymour, Oxford. Pack 65.
Smile.
Said something about Pack 2.
27.
27. I'm saying Pack 27, Shelton, Connecticut. Can't see it, I'm sorry. Girl Scout, Troop. Hi. Girl Scout Troop 4310.
How you doing?
Good. Oh, there's the next one. Guys, leave gaps between your unit and the front unit in front of you. So you get film. Leave a gap, right? Hey, how you doing? Okay. Troop 9, Derby.
You don't want to do that. Yeah, go with Eddie, so yeah, because I feel like no. Hi.
Pack 13, Seymour. Pack 11, Seymour.
I have peppers. They're checking it out right now. Yeah. They're checking it out right now. Team, Nicholas, Midge. I'm here.
Troop 283 from Waterbury, Connecticut.
What you doing?
Pack 5 from Ansonia, Connecticut.
Let's look nicely.
Hi.
They didn't take a picture right here.
I'm not gonna take
Wait, Al.
Hi. Cheese day.
Troop 1, Oxford. Here we have some wood badgers, I think.
For the green patch, let them out.
Jealous.
Jealous. Ran out, man. Get that. Show us. Don't you like your
Pack 60, Oxford.
Come on, guys, line up. Look sharp. Let's go. Robert. Andy, the hat. Come on, turn it around.
We want to see that scouting on board.
Smiles, Randy, and wave.
Good excuse.
Prove you're not scouting yet.
Looking for an excuse to wear that back. Here, go like this.
Yeah, I'll do it well. Your pants are too hard.
Wait.
You need me at 6, right?
Randy's my
12.
Yeah.
12?
12 to 4 is rehearsal. Now we have Troop 3, Derby.
Complaining with the power, like all the wires go through all here. Okay, it must be had right Part of Connecticut.
Now we gotta keep up to get the brakes.
All ages, welcome to the 75th Diamond Jubilee of the Housatonic Council of the Boy Scouts. The Housatonic Council of the Boy Scouts of America. I'm Robert Singletary, Vice President of Program and your host here at the opening. And now, I would like you to give a big hand for the Director of Area 2 of the Northeast Region of the Boy Scouts of America, Mr. Ron Rogers.
Thank you very much. Good morning. That's pretty good for a bunch of people to slip out overnight. I think you're awake. I'm real pleased to be here this morning. I wish you were standing where I am, because the view that we get is outstanding when you see all those flags and the Tiger Cubs in the middle and the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. It certainly presents a great picture that I wish all of the people here in the Valley could see this morning. I'm looking forward to your activities today. But more important, what I want to say to you right now is it's always a pleasure to visit the Housatonic Council. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, because you boys that are involved in scouting are just in it for fun, but you volunteers that are there are doing a great job in delivering an outstanding program, a very quality program to the youth that you're serving. The Housatonic Council The Housatonic Council, for the past 3 years that I've been associated with it, has been a quality council. That's just a word to many of you, but to me it represents an awful lot of hard work. You as volunteers are taking the training that is required. You're putting in the time that it requires to deliver a quality program to these youth. And I think it's very evident today that you're doing a fine job. I do want to compliment the executive board of this council. They just got done doing a long-range plan, looking to the future, looking into the 21st century. And I know this council is going to exist into the 21st century and continue to deliver a quality program to the boys of the Valley. With me up here on the stage are two parts of what I call the key three. Your new council president, John Barrett. John. Your new council commissioner, Dick Dormer. I want to compliment Dick. I understand Dick is also the Jubilee chief, and he's put this together with the volunteer committees to make this day develop, and hopefully the weather will continue to hold up for us, and we'll have a wonderful time here today. And the third person who wouldn't come up here on the stage, the third part of your council key three, your scout executive, Marty Cato. Marty? This is the best time of the year as far as I'm concerned. I always love the spring. Everything's breaking out. The trees are budding. The flowers are up. And we're all getting ready for an additional experience in scouting, and that is the summer. And with summer comes the camping season. And I know many of you that are seated out in front of me are looking forward to a great summer at Ed Strang Scout Reservation, which I've had the pleasure of visiting the last 3 years on visitation inspections, and it's always been a quality camp. It's always been certified, nationally certified, for your safety and your enjoyment. And I know, talking to Marty, that it's bulging at the seams with youngsters that are signed up to go this summer, and I know you're going to have a great experience. And we're looking forward to visiting you again. Last, before we get this show started, I'd like to compliment those visitors that are with us today, people of the Valley. You know, scouting just doesn't happen because there's a name called scouting. It happens because there's dedication of local people, there's dedication of the volunteers that serve at the UNO level, and we support it in many various ways. We support it with our time, which is very important, and we support it with our dollars. And you are very fortunate here in the Valley to have the Valley United Way, which supports scouting with dollars to be able to deliver the scouting program. And your dollars that you give, even as volunteers in your sustaining membership, to provide the program. There are so many outstanding things that I can say about this council, but I think the best thing about this council is the volunteers and the people in it. Because without you, it certainly wouldn't happen, and I'm very privileged to be associated with you as your area director, and I thank you for that. So this is the only script I've been given, and I hope I do it right. So let the Jubilee get started with a big bang. Thank you.
That was the 27th Connecticut, here to keep guard over us for the whole full day. And now, by the way, one other thing Mr. Rogers didn't point out is that we have up here among us lesser qualified people 3 Eagle Scouts, our bugler, Josh Lynn. Mr. Ron Rogers is an Eagle Scout. And would you welcome the next person, the president of the Housatonic Council, Eagle Scout, Mr. Dormer. Excuse me, that's Eagle Scout John Barrett.
Welcome to the 75th anniversary of the Housatonic Council, Boy Scouts of America. It's wonderful to see so many scouts, scouting families, scouting supporters, and leaders here today. We have a wonderful day to enjoy the many exciting and interesting activities and events that have been planned for you by Chief Dick Dormer and his enthusiastic, hard-working Jubilee Committee. We are celebrating the 75th anniversary of one of the most honored and historic Boy Scout councils in the nation. A council which is small but mighty. A council of which each of you are an essential and integral part. The council has always been known for the quality of its young men and the adults who, with them, through the generations, have made the council nationally recognized as a quality council. I hope you scouts will introduce yourselves to me today so I may become acquainted with you. We are proud of each one of you. Now, are you ready for a great day?
Okay, I'd like everyone to stand, please, and turn your attention to the flagpole at the end of the field down here. Scout salute. may be seated. Okay, I have a couple of announcements before we get things finally rolling. First of all, for anybody who hasn't heard, Governor John Rowland will be coming in at 5 o'clock this afternoon here on the mini stage, and he will be presenting the Silver Antelope Award to our own Ed Strang. This is a National Boy Scouting Award for volunteers. So I hope you'll all be here at 5 o'clock for that ceremony. Also, those who have received the VIP invitations, there will be a reception over in the VIP tent, the blue and white striped tent over there, right after the opening. And with that, I would like to introduce the chief of our Jubilee, Mr. Dick Dormer.
Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome all you fine volunteers who are giving all this hard work to get things done. I'd like to welcome the exhibitors that have come here today who may not be around at the closing ceremony. I want to thank them especially for their contribution. But most of all, I want to thank you guys for being here. And with that, let's have fun and let the Jubilee begin.
Unit leaders, dismiss your units.
Here at the Jubilee, we have the Executive Director of the Valley United Way, Mr. Jack Walsh. And Jack, you have a few words to say about the Valley United Way's role in scouting in the Valley.
Randy, I just got to tell you how impressed I was just at the opening ceremonies here and seeing, I guess it was 600 boys who camped out overnight, and all these exhibits are going on and the displays the kids are going to put on and the demonstrations. I think it shows the tremendous job that the Boy Scouts are doing here in the Valley. Just when you think about it, 600 boys, and I know you have even more than that in all your activities, but 600 are camping out at one time, celebrating the 75th anniversary. I think in Iowa is just happy to be a very small part of that. I'm glad that our donations help to support the program, but I'm also equally as proud of all the volunteers I saw out here today. You had 600 kids, you probably had a couple hundred adults, and I think that's the strength of scouting. Not only do we have the boys, but you have the volunteers. It really made it a whole family-type activity, and Valley United Way is really proud and just pleased to be able to help support those activities. Hopefully the weather will hold out here and you'll have a fantastic day, because this is just a great start to a super weekend celebrating 75 years of scouting here in the Valley. So we're very happy to be part of it.
So, Jack, on behalf of Housatonic Council, I'd like to say thank you very much for all you do and all the United Way does to support scouting in the Valley.
Thank you. We have Jack Mikowski here with us today from the Seymour Beacon Falls District Legislature. We're pleased to have you today.
Very, very nice to be here, and certainly wishing you the very best of luck and our congratulations on behalf of the delegation. It's going to be a beautiful day. We could see the sun coming through here now, and certainly it's a tribute to you and all the many volunteers that make scouting such a success. Also, the 75th January is going to be a fitting tribute to scouts and all the volunteers.
Thank you. We have a wonderful council here of volunteers and young men. We have an extremely fine council.
One of the things, as a matter of fact, this past weekend I attended an Eagle Scout ceremony in Seymour, and always in my 10 years as state representative, it's one of my favorite events because you see that these young men are putting in all sorts of volunteer time, giving back to their community, and have such a wonderful spirit. And when you hear all these doom and gloom things about how terrible our children are today, you see this great inspiration to the future and to all scouts.
We appreciate your support.
Nice to be here. Good luck and have a wonderful day.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Just stay in the picture and smile. Here we have with us First Selectman John O'Toole from the town of Seymour. John's going to be in the stage show tonight, but he's here today as well. He's going to try his luck running over the obstacle course, and we're going to get some of that. Right, John? John, you going to be able to do it? Yes, I am. Your last will and testament here? That's what that is. That's okay. All right. I don't think I need
That's the toughest one. Got it yet. All right. That's why I vote.
I think he just got a better vote for re-election on this.
Where's Schlesinger and Loretti, huh?
Rope on this side.
Rope, Phil. Come head for it. Phil, come on. I want to hit that. Don't worry. You ain't going to hit it. Just not land on your feet. There you go. We got a freezer up there. We got a jump freezer. Jump. That's it, man. Get over this side, too. Try to see Phil.
John, make sure that you get the sticker. Let's see him. Let's see him. Let's see him.
Today I would like to introduce Representative Ben Tanucci. Say a few words about scouting.
How you doing?
How do you do, Ben?
Doing very well. It's a pleasure to be here. I was a Cub Scout many years ago and a Boy Scout. Of course, I know Ed Strang fairly well. And the last time I was with the Scouts was at the affair you had at the Raps Paradise Inn with Brian Dennehy. And it was a pleasure for me to be there that evening, too. I brought my family, and the scouting means an awful lot to us. I have two girls, so they're not too involved in Scouts, although my little ones were around us. But scouting gave me my first opportunity to work together in a group with people like we see here today, and I had a chance to go camping and just see how it is again, to work with others and to be self-sufficient in a sense. So it meant an awful lot to me. It meant a great deal. And again, I mean, the things here today that the kids are doing are just unbelievable, which I'm sure you'll see throughout the day. And I understand Jeff Fox was here last night too to visit. Yes, yeah, it's a great event, and I guess John Rowland's coming here tonight. This is terrific that we bring it here, and I'm glad it was hosted in Derby, in the Valley.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Nice meeting you. Yes.
Hey, look at you. And to where the Scouts camped, we had about 700 or 800 Scouts camping there last night and again tonight in 5 different sub-camps. You might be interested in how they did that. And once again, we invite you not only to our closing ceremony tomorrow morning here at 9 o'clock, but back again at 5 o'clock when Governor Rowland will be here to bring greetings to the council, and even more importantly, to bestow an award to Ed Strang. You've heard, everybody knows Ed Strang. A lot of you don't know what the Silver Antelope is. It's one of those silly Boy Scout named awards, but it's one of the most prestigious awards that an adult can receive in scouting. In fact, essentially it's the second most prestigious award nationally. And Ed is the first guy from this council ever to get it. In fact, I don't know if there's been 2 or 3 from the state of Connecticut. Ron, whether you'd have a clue. Not very many.
Not very many.
Not very many. So we're really happy about that. The sad news is that Ed was supposed to go to Chicago this coming weekend to the Boy Scouts of America national meeting to receive this award, but because of ill health isn't able to do that. But his loss is our gain. We'll be able to share his moment with him, so we hope that you can all attend that. And of course, tonight at 7:30 in the high school gym, those of you who have been up to the high school, you know what it looks like. We have a 40-foot stage with 3 30-foot screens hanging from the ceiling up there. It looks like Woodstock all over again with light towers and sound towers. It's going to be phenomenal. Multimedia. Thanks also to Telemedia for all the help they're giving us, by the way, today. Is Council President John Barrett, if you'd just like to welcome folks or say whatever you'd like to, feel free.
We are so pleased to see all of you, to have you here at this most important celebration. We have a wonderful council here in the Valley. We have outstanding volunteers who have given years of service to the council. And most of all, best of all, we have some of the finest young men in the nation in our troop. And we are very proud of each one of them. And we hope that you will enjoy yourself and have a nice day. And thank you very much.
Thank you, John. I neglected to thank our hostesses who did a lot of baking and set up for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Dick, would you like to...
No, all I can say is have a great Jubilee and have fun and do what you want.
Okay, Scouts, why don't we get the Scout guides in here, and anybody who'd like to hook up, whether it's 2 or 3 of you or one alone, and meet one of these Scouts, and they'll be glad to show you around. And
Hey, how's it going?
Check the flag. Fire it up, hey.
Yeah, just the roof. Everything else is handmade. Just the roof. Okay. Stop waving. You can stop waving, all right?
Hi, how you doing? I'm Scott Ritter and Vinny Anglis of Rat Racing. This is a 1995 Spathco Modified, NASCAR Modified. We raced this at the Waterford Speed Bowl in New London, right off of Route 395. It's got a Chevrolet 350 cubic inch motor. The car body is a Chevy Cavalier. The only thing that's a real Chevy Cavalier on it is the roof. Everything else is hand fabricated. Inside there you'll see some gauges, oil temperature, water pressure, tachometer. We have two-way radio for communications while the driver's out on the track. We got another gentleman that's hooked here. You ready to go? Wait for the camera. There you go. We have coilover suspension, Coney shocks. The car weighs a total of 2,600 pounds. We have to run certain left side weight, which is 56% of the car's total weight. It's got a 22-gallon fuel cell. As you can see, it's two-wheeler roll cage. We also
out here, you put one leg into the right on the seat. This one? Okay, you start right on the seat. Like right in the window.
Come on up and see us at the Waterford Speed Bowl every Saturday night, 5 o'clock. Perfect. Now pads. Takes all, make sure the oil gets to both sides of the motor.
Little guys, it goes faster.
Basically your 350, it's got the high energy distributor, an oil cooler, electric fan, high performance power steering pump.
Got it.
Can't reach him, huh? That's right. Put your hand on the top.
And all the components have their own master cylinder. You got the front brake has its own cylinder, the rear brakes have its own cylinder, and then there's a clutch cylinder down on the bottom. They all have individual. Make a beer claw necklace.
I have.
About 410.
Yep, back up on your monitor.
Where do you race? Oh yeah, I've been by many times. Yeah. So where do you live? You live down that more that way, right?
Like 3 different places.
Oh, okay.
I live ask any more questions. I live in Housatonic and I live in water. Yeah. When I'm not working, I stay in water with my wife. And when I'm working, I got to stay down here to the train station.
Yeah, it's ready to pack up for the race tonight. Pack 60 of Oxford. Doing some craft work here, making necklaces. Is that?
Yeah.
A necklace? Okay, here you go. Well, now. Yeah. Thank you.
Pack 13 with their Native American craft.
Excuse
me. Thank you. I could get one down. Mike? Mike Whittick. Here we have Pack 3 Derby.
How you doing?
What do we have on display here?
Derby Weeblos. We got water safety here.
Why don't you pull some of your scouts in?
Guys, why don't you come out here?
Already here.
Just have some stuff that is used in water rescue, cold water rescue suit that allows rescue personnel to enter icy cold waters without suffering hypothermia. We got safety lines and a rescue ring, which is put around the person who needs to be rescued. It's all tethered to the rescuer, and then we got 300 feet of rope that goes to shore. We have an ice auger in case it's far from shore and we need to anchor ourselves into the ice. We have a lot of boating safety brochures courtesy of DEP, Boating Safety Division. We have our canoe simulator here.
Somebody turn around, you're both should be facing the same way.
Guys, Mike, hop out. And why don't you show Phil how we're going to walk and keep our gravity low. Walk low a little bit. And show them what happens when you get too close to the edges, when you walk to the edge. This is what the canoe will do in the water. You watch the tip, right? There you go.
She let it go. She just found out. It was really true this week.
Of course, we have a bunch of different PFDs, or personal flotation devices. The motto is what? They don't work if you don't wear them, right? Okay.
Get over so you can explain it.
Why, sure.
Okay.
This is a red fox, normally a farm fox, open field, as opposed to the gray fox, which is a wood fox, right? This is an otter. Trappers can take up to 8 a year, but they're pretty scarce in Connecticut. We don't get that many of them. And naturally, everybody knows what the beaver looks like. That tree he's been chewing on, take him about 15 minutes to knock that tree down. And there's quite a bit of beaver damage in Connecticut right now. And the raccoon, everybody knows about our raccoons in Connecticut. They're all over the place. This, I don't mean to walk in front of you, but this is a coyote from Avon, Connecticut. Makes a beautiful fur coat, and there's quite a few of them around. They'll go anywhere from 20 pounds up to 50, 60 pounds, like a large German Shepherd.
Very nice.
These are canned raccoon skins. All set to go into a fur coat. That's the tan beaver. These are some of the traps we use. This is called the Conn bear. It's a killer trap. It's set underwater. The animal has to swim into it. And it takes them this way. This is a foothold trap, and it's set very easily. And it catches the animal by the foot, just like that. What it is a holding device until the trapper gets there, and then he can dispatch the animal.
Steve,
Now I can't get it off my hand without help.
That's good to cut that. Jim Turisic and his knives. He makes these knives and he makes the flies as well, Jim?
Yeah, teach fly tying and fly fishing.
Tell us about one of the knives you have there.
Okay. This particular piece is, the blade is 250 layers of steel that are hammer welded together and then worked to give it the pattern. The bolsters are called makume, which is Japanese for wood grain. And they're made out of a laminated copper and nickel, then worked to give it the pattern. This is apple coral. The inlay in the back is pearl. Oh, thank you. And it's all cut with jeweler's files for decoration.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you for catching. Yeah. My fault. Of course I can't.
Connie, you get.
Let me just test
We have another thing for green?
Rain gutter regatta here. It's a race. Oh, he's catching up. Oh, gotta readjust here. Gotta get the wind behind it. Guy looks like he's doing good. He's doing good. He's catching up. And a winner. All right. Good job, guys.
That's my favorite.
Okay.
What we have here is bacon and eggs being cooked in a paper bag. Utensil is cooking. We have some baked eggs being cooked, some bread rolls, muffins, a baked apple, and in the back, in preparing for lunch, we have our baked chicken being cooked. A baked chicken out of charcoal. It works on a chimney effect, such as you see here. We load the sides with charcoal briquettes. A tripod will hold, this afternoon we're going to have a ham and a turkey going. And then we wrap it with aluminum foil. To keep the heat in. And like a little up? Oh, you can put your hand in there. Yeah, you can see we got something going there. A briquette. A briquette. It'll take about 2 hours to do the chicken, about 2 hours to do the turkey, 2.5.
You know, I never saw this before.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's called a novelty type cooking. You know, you would do it if you had a lot of time, you were maybe by yourself, or you were experimenting.
Yeah.
Or in a survival technique situation.
I was a scout too, and we didn't do that back then.
In a normal situation, you know, the kids want to go, they want to eat right away, and you really don't have the time to do this novelty.
That takes a while?
This will take a while. This will take about 15, 20 minutes to bake an egg and to cook the baked egg. The bacon in this case, because you got to cook slower, it doesn't flame up because as the bacon melts, it coats the bag with its grease. And so long as the flame doesn't hit it, the bag won't burn.
Well, Vinny's always looking for other ways to cook food.
Yeah.
So he'll go back
And if I were in the woods, I want to know how to cook.
he wants to know if he's ever on an island. About how to.
I was a scout, so we did some of these things, but I never I never did this. But just to get that.
You can see this was coming up pretty close to being done.
Here we have Troop 3 Derby's double tower gateway, 20-foot tall tower. It's about, I don't know, a couple hundred lashings are on there. They erected it, started Thursday, finished up Friday night, last night about midnight, and here it is on display. This is the model campsite. They have the tent set up, tarps, a few camp gadgets, and they're letting the scouts climb on the tower.
Hold on a minute. Come on, Aaron. These are cute. I know we have to go make them, but he has this up at the top. Andrew!
How's it doing, right? Where's the lyric?
We're sending from down.
And then they shut the lights off. It's all dark. It's unbelievable.
What's your name?
Aaron?
Aaron?
This is the Scorpion, and our troop, every patrol had to make a camp gadget. And a camp gadget is something that you could use around camp. And this is our camp gadget. It's a catapult, and it lifts things that are hard to carry. And right now we're doing baseballs and tennis balls. And it's very simple. All you have to do is pull.
Okay, the reason why this got its name is because Matthew Deco and his father got the idea for this from our patrol name, the Scorpions, because when it goes up, it's like the tail attacking. And we'll demonstrate it. 1, 2, 3.
All right. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we got baseballs.
Right.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yo, can I try this? Is it?
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
On your mark, get set, blow, blow, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, don't stop, blow, 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 catch your cars. All right, the winner's the red. Nice job. Get set.
Here we are at Troop 9 station, and they're an astronomy station. They've got constellations, and their constellations are in the can. Is that right? This is a constellation in the can. And for example, I guess we'll take a look at this one now. Okay. And that one's the Little Dipper, you said, right?
Yep.
All right. All right.
We did look
That's great. And this one, you said was?
That's Libra.
Libra? Libra. That's great, guys.
Okay, on your mark.
Excellent. Good way to tell the constellations.
And in the building, there's more.
Yep.
Down there.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
You're welcome. These are the Little Dipper and the Big Dipper. These are really easy to recognize in the sky because they're always so close to each other, especially in the air. Over here is another popular one, Gemini, the twins. Okay, help me out here. This is Draco the Dragon. It is one of the constellations that has a chain of stars, not stars all bunched together. This is Cancer the Crab. It's one of the zodiac signs.
Right now, I guess
Now, the next ball.
Did you see my ball?
Make it
Yeah.
Yeah. You see it?
really kind of like
You want me to beat you up, you
You're gonna love me, because I'm giving them all to Troop 3 to do tonight for you.
While I'm sleeping, right? Around the
Now, you need one more
Hi, would you like to make one?
of these strings here that you just do like this again.
You don't have to come out. What to do?
Oh, sure, when you're ready. Hi!
That's Eric Goldstein.
That's Ilio Gugliani.
He's the day camp director.
He's the summer camp director. And we want to welcome you to Housatonic Council Summer Camp. Whether it be day camp, Weeblos Week, or
Summer camp for the boys. Come on and have a great time.
6 weeks of fun, either at Camp Strang in Goshen or
At Housatonic Day Camp at Foster Park for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Now you could come to the summer camp and You could earn merit badges, you could go swimming, and if you don't like that, and if you have a younger son, you could come to the pack weekend with your son, and then have a great time shooting BB, learning about nature, and so forth and so on. Here's a mother, she's just inquiring about day camp for her son. We're trying to convince her also to come to Cutback weekend with her son. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Come and cook out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Keep pulling, guys.
Oh,
I'm sure you're ourselves on. Okay, is that all you want to do? All right, let's see that. Is this deep enough for you? You ready?
Different types of fire lays that you can have when you're building a campfire. Each fire has a specific purpose.
Okay, well, this is the eye.
708 during station.
And
Make sure you visit the sign-in
going to show you how to parts of the compass.
when you join
Okay, well, this is the magnetic needle. This is the dial with the degrees on it. This is the base. Now
Now we're going to show you how to orient the map.
you put the base next to a red line on the map. And you spin it, turn it until it is lined up.
The red needle points to north.
And now
this is pointing to true north instead of magnetic north. That is how to orient the map. And we have an obstacle course back here where you walk in a triangle, and you're supposed to, if you do it right, land back where you started.
I do, Gregory.
Yep.
Mark, get set. Go.
I'm Bob Hilker, the president of the Connecticut Model Airplane Club. This is Harry Halstead, vice president, Phil Temple, vice president, Bob Gordon, past president. And we are putting on a static display today of these airplanes so the boys can see them and enjoy them and ask questions about them. Phil, this is Phil's airplane. You want to tell them about it, Phil?
It's a J3 Cub flip wing, mostly for aerobatics.
Beautiful plane. Very good.
That's the F-18 Hornet. That's for aerobatics, very fast.
Okay, that's the Super Skybolt. That's a scale model of an original, fully acrobatic. It does anything that a full-size plane will do. It's flown several times and it's crashed a couple of times.
All right, this is the same airplane as this one, but it's a little bit smaller. It's extremely fast, very, very aerobatic airplane.
Okay, what would you like to put on the top there now? You have a Z over there somewhere?
Here, which one?
Little Z?
Do you know which one?
Which one?
I had to make one of yours.
Put your initials on there?
Any
of these. Any of these.
Hit it.
Tell me what you want on there. The eagle?
No, not
Oh, here we go. Here's the Z right here. Cub Scout sign?
the Weevil sign.
No, I have a Boy Scout or the Cub Scout?
Boy Scout.
Boy Scout? Okay.
When it dries, you see it real good.
Oh, it
What else
dries?
you need? Yeah, when it dries.
D-A-V-E.
D-A-V-E.
Dave.
What? I'm hearing special prize.
Oh, you want to put the whole name on? D.
Yeah.
All right.
These are the arrowheads. You're going to do like this. Yeah. You got to get it wet first.
Everything will be okay at 5 for Ed.
The wise shaman in the tribe understood that little gopher had a gift that was special. Do not struggle, little gopher. Your path will be the same as the others. Grow up to be warriors. Your place among the people and in a few years, when
We're with Area Director Ron Rogers. Ron is here on behalf of the National Boy Scouts of America as a representative, and he's here to say a few words about what he's seen and what's left to come for the rest of the day today. Ron?
Well, thank you, Randy. I had the pleasure of being part of your opening ceremony this morning. Certainly was outstanding to see all those scouts in uniform marching in their American flags. We're looking forward to spending the day here seeing all these scouting activities that are happening. See all the Tiger Cubs and the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts and the parents. And, the Valley here should be very proud of the scouting program that they support. This is the 75th anniversary of the Housatonic Council. And certainly as we prepare to go into the 21st century, it proves by the activities today that scouting is alive and well and is a vibrant force in this community. And we should be very proud of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming down.
My pleasure.
And see if they have anything better to say about our play at this point. Hello again. He's my kind of guy. Oh, I think they look the same.
You wouldn't know how I jumped up and kicked you in the face.
Why say thumbs down?
Well, I say thumbs up.
Okay, the travels continue. Now they're back traveling in the land of dreams.
Well, Skippy, looks like we lost the path. Hope we find some more help soon. Look out! Whoa, that was close. Here comes another one. Watch out! Wait, that's not a bat. It's too big. Ah! Incoming! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! That hurt. What a funny witch. I can't even make a decent landing. You look like a pretty good witch to me. I mean, you're sure ugly enough. You're just saying that. It makes me feel good. No, really. Look on the bright side. I don't have to look on the bright side if I don't want to. And you can't make. Okay, well, you should really try to be more obedient and cheerful. You're right. I'll be the most cheerful witch in the world. Okay. You don't have to overdo it. All right, whatever you say. How can I ever thank you?
Frank DiCaprio out of Troop 9 in Derby. I'd like to introduce you to Mike Sullivan, world champion lumberjack. Goes back to 1987? 87 won his first championship. And I'd like to have him explain it a little bit.
My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a world champion lumberjack. In 1987, I won my first world title, two-man crosscut. My
partner and I cut a 20-inch white pine log in 7.27 seconds, which was in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Do we have your autograph?
Sure.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You guys having fun today?
Yeah.
Watch the show?
Thanks. We had to work.
Oh, you had to.
Pyramid Temple Shriners, and I'm going to play you a couple of selections on my kazoo. What's your favorite song? That's good, I know that one. This is a song played underwater in a submarine when they put screens in for the summer. Now it's underwater. Wait, more people are coming. Wait, hold it. I hear them. Where are they? When Bob said you're going to have a big audience, he was right. But where are they? There they are, two of you. Stand up, fellas. Stand up. I want to give you a big hand. Yay! Let's give them a hand for those two that are in the audience for the clown. And when the clown comes back later, it's going to be even more. It's going to be four of you, right? One troop. If you come around sell cookies, I'll even buy some. Let me tell you, it's a great day to be out here in the valley. I went to Boy Scout camp up in Sequoias, up in Winston. I tipped over in every boat they had up there. That's why I learned to play the kazoo underwater.
Officer Begley, and this is Press. He's our canine, and he does tracking work and sniffs out venison. We have trained to sniff out venison, deer when we're looking for it, and evidence, anything with a human scent. Find it anywhere. You can make these labs do everything. But we had a suspect. Some are drug dogs, some are bomb dogs. They use them for everything under the sun. But this is the specialty with him.
I have to go.
Okay, it was good talking to you. All right.
On my way there, Dan.
Now to introduce you to the cast and the crew that ran all this. First of all, you got Matt Pittman, who did Skippy, the Baby Dragon.
I'm going to show you how it fixes
Let's hear it from Matt. And then we got Al Prosenius. He did the Bat and the Ogre. And then who's our stage crew manager. And then Aaron Holt. Aaron did the Girl and the Wizard. And Jeff, to invite you back.
Really interesting.
We have another show coming up at
never get into the
1:30, and the final one will be at 4. In the meantime, if anyone
40 miles per hour crash could be.
the stage show is going on.
Hi, I'm Bill Pruiting with Troop 28, and we've constructed a rope bridge here. I have Jim Hawkins who's going to go across. Okay, Jim, we're on the side. Jim, hop up on, grab the ropes and hold yourself. Okay, grab each rope and walk with your feet on the side, sideways. Ready? Keep going, Jim. Remember, hold on the ropes tight.
Come on, Kim. Moving.
Teaching you, don't slip. You make fool of yourself like Koozie. That's really nice. That's mine. I can say that. You're squatting on the other side. Or on the camera. You're doing fine. Take it slow.
How are you? No rush. No rush.
fine.
Yeah.
Wait, put your both hands on that.
All right, you can jump off there.
Good, Tim.
Good job.
Good job.
I don't know who she is. The last 2 years.
Skip. Skip. Hey, Skip. Come here.
Told you I never made it. That's what I told you. I never made it across. That's what I mean.
Hello, my name is John Dorso, and I'm here to show you some headbands that were made with the use of female pheasant wings that have been dried and stretched out and held in position and attached to a headband. And in addition to that, we have rosettes and beadwork that's also attached, and the boys can make these very easily. Even some of the women that are in our troop have assisted in working on the beadwork. Their crafts and skills have been beneficial to us. And Dave also has a nice garment here that he has made, a war shirt. He can explain a little more about that.
I have a chest plate here with a turkey claw on it. I have a war shirt which has fringe and a breechcloth.
Right. Then he also, in addition to that, has a headdress made out of a silver fox with the headband, and then feathers and fluffies that have been added to it to give it a little more color. And it can be used in ceremonial occasions in many programs that the Indians always conducted around their council fires. He also holds in his hand a dancing stick or a coo stick. And this is normally held in the ceremonies and in great honor to the Great Spirit. Can you add anything? This is the dugout canoe that we worked together on. A friend of mine that's in Cup Pack 25, Keith Rood, and I myself, John Dorson, we hollowed this all out of a windfall, a tree that has been fallen down, and it's all made of beech, a very hard wood, and we roughed it all out with a chainsaw, and we're 90% complete on this dugout canoe thus far, and hopefully we have a time to finish it and put it on display up at our council camp up in Goshen. The length of it is 14 feet, and it's 15 inches wide. And it's quite heavy at the present time, but we will hollow it out a little more thorough and smooth it all out and paint it and put it on display up at our scout camp.
Okay. Hi, my name's Bob O'Brien. I'm the director of the Seymour Civil Defense Dive Rescue Team. Today with me is Jeremy Johnson, and he's a Weeblos leader with Pack 3. Pack 3. I'm going to explain to him some of our equipment and operations, beginning with, on my left here, we have a 5,000 pound lift capacity airbag system that we use for lifting large objects, such as cars or trucks. And we'll move along. Over here we have our Rescue Annie doll dressed up in river rescue garb. Most important items on her would be a flotation device, such as a PFD, and of course a helmet. Usually in swift water situations, items such as rocks, debris, trees, branches, things of that nature are of a concern. She is connected, of course, to a line, which all persons who go in the water in this situation would be connected to. We have various rope hardware that we use in, when we're dealing with water rescue. A lot of these items are used with our Zodiac for certain operations. Moving along, We have our scuba gear, of course, when we're going underwater. This particular setup is a 100 cubic foot tank with a positive pressure BC. Of course, we all carry knives in case we get snagged. We have multiple knives, as a matter of fact. A little bit further, the mask that would go with that setup, we have what we call the XO26. This mask is a full face mask, and it also employs communications, whereas the diver can talk to and listen to another diver and another person on shore. This is important when you're coordinating teamwork, such as when you're using the airbags that we showed you earlier. Moving along, we have a line gun. This is used to shoot a small diameter piece of twine across the river where a person would meet us on the other side and would be able to tow across a larger diameter rope for using rope work. Moving along, we have underwater photography capabilities. We have a camcorder. We use this in photographing crime scenes. Also, this helps us see a little bit better in water that is not very clear. Some of the things that we do are ice rescue. Ice rescue usually employs throwing an object to a person, or reaching to a person, or going to the person. In most cases, most people are able to reach or throw. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to demonstrate to these two boys here how that they can use a throw rope in trying to reach somebody who's trapped on the ice. All right, guys. Who's going to be the victim? All right, victim. Take a walk out there about 20 feet or so. Okay? That's good, right about there. That's good. Okay, and you're going to be the rescuer. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to hold this end of the rope. Are you right-handed? Okay, very good. Okay, you're going to hold this in your left hand, and you're going to take out a little bit of rope like that, and you're going to try and throw this to your buddy over there who's trapped on the ice, okay? Think you can do that? Let's give it a try. All right. Now he would grab it. And of course, you tell him, hang on, and you're going to pull him right in. Okay? Yell to him. Yell to him. Hang on. Hang on to the rope. Hang on to the rope part. Rope. There you go. Come on in. Oh, fabulous. Okay.
Alright, I'm Pat Gaynor. This is Troop 11's obstacle course, right? Now see, you have to go through the tires here with the football in the hand. You come down here, alright? You throw the football in the tube here.
Where the hair at? Okay, I'm sorry. He just like fell. Why? I can do it.
We're hidden to the fast boats, and we rigged them up, made modifications of fishing boats, and put M60s on them, and get interpreters who could speak Arabic in various ways. And we perfect the art of piloting the boats ourselves. So we'd have all kinds of things happening here, meeting all kinds of nationalities. A lot of it was working with people from like 14 different other countries, coordinating, overcoming the language barrier, if there is such a thing.
Hey, my name is Joe Pereira, and I'm a scoutmaster for Troop 115 in Naugatuck, but I'm also a fisheries biologist with the federal government, and I catch all these animals on our boat at work, and I'm also happen to be an oceanography merit badge counselor, so that's what this display is all about. What do you want to look at first, guys? This guy here? Okay, this is called a sea robin, and he's called a sea robin, I think, because he's got wings. See? He's got these big orange fins, and he's got real pretty eyes, too. See, he's got these little tentacles on the bottom. He uses those to feel around in the mud and find his food. The other reason I think they call it a sea robin is they sing. Okay? You get them out of the water, they make little croaking noises sometimes. If you're real quiet, you can hear them. They're pretty cool. You got to be careful, though, because he's got some sharp spines on the edge of his gill cover here, and if you grab him the wrong way, he'll stab your hand. Let's put him back in the water. What do you want to see next? This guy here? Okay, this is a horseshoe crab. Okay? Horseshoe crabs are really ancient animals, and they've been on the ocean, in the oceans for millions of years without changing very much. They're actually not a crab at all. Their closest living relative is really spiders. And if you turn them over, you can see that this is a boy horseshoe crab. And the way I tell the guys to remember the boy horseshoe crab is to remember Captain Hook. Okay? Captain Hook, see that first leg? That first leg has a hook on it, so you know that's a boy. The girl horseshoe crabs don't have that. Okay? And what he does is he kind of meanders around through the mud like a little bulldozer, and he finds little things that he likes to eat, and he crushes them up in this thing right there. If you feel that, it feels like a toothbrush. Okay? So he mashes that all up in there, and then he takes it with these little claws and sticks it in his mouth to eat it. The other thing that's neat is he's got, see these flaps back here? Those are called book gills. Okay? They're called book gills because they look like the pages in a book, don't they? And gills are what animals that live in the water use to breathe. Okay? Also, horseshoe crabs have eyes. They got 4 eyes, as a matter of fact. There's an eye here, okay? The other one is sort of covered over by barnacles. And then they have 2 little spots right here in the front. Those are eyes, too. Okay? They're pretty neat. Okay, who's next on the agenda? Oh, you want to see this guy, huh? All right, I'll go on record here with my thing about skates. Okay, the thing? No, they have little sharp tentacles on their skin, though. Feel that. You see those little sharp spines sticking on there? Can you feel those? Yeah. And what you really got to think of them as is they're a flat shark, okay? And their skeleton is all cartilage. You know what cartilage is?
Yeah, I heard of it. I've been studying it.
Grab your ear. Grab your ear. That's cartilage, okay? And his skeleton is no bones, all cartilage, like your ear, so it's kind of soft and floppy. The neat thing about these guys is their mouth is underneath, see? They got a little smiley face under there. You see that? So everybody likes the skates because they got that little smiley face under there. Now, we catch all kinds of skates in Long Island Sound, okay? In the summertime, we catch roller skates, see? In the wintertime, we catch ice skates. And sometimes we catch these real little guys. Those are cheapskates.
What is this right there?
This guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sea robin. Okay? See, he's got those big wings. Here, let me show you the flounder. You're going to like him. Did you know there's a fish right here?
Yeah.
Watch.
Oh, yeah, there you are, Evan. Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay, let me get the sand off of him. And see, he's a flounder. He lays on his side, and he's got both eyes on the same side of his head. You see that? See, there's no eye on that side.
Right-handed.
Okay? Yeah, and this is a winter flounder, so he's right-sided. The other flounder is a left-sided flounder. Now, these guys swim on their side all the time, and they bury themselves in the sand. Now watch this guy disappear.
Oh, cool.
Watch. Go on.
Oh.
So what he does is he lies there in the sand with nothing but his eyes sticking out. Okay, and when something comes by that's good to eat, he jumps out of the sand and grabs it.
You have food for him?
No.
What kind of food?
Well, he'll eat chopped clams, but he eats little worms and little snails and just about anything small enough to fit in his mouth.
St. Ray.
Yeah, that's called a skate.
Okay. What does he do when he wakes up?
He's kind of a flat shark. He eats crabs mostly.
Will he bite you?
No.
you pick them up? They
Sure.
can cut you by the razor. Their tails.
See?
Don't their tails, if they whip you, they cut you like
See,
razor?
mouth underneath?
Don't their tails cut you if they whip you?
No, not these guys.
That's the one.
Yeah, skates and rays are all in the same family. Yeah.
The rays will bite you, right?
Kind of a, like I said, a flat shark. His skeleton is all cartilage and flies. Okay, how about this guy here? You know what this is? Who knows what this is?
Clam?
This is actually a bay scallop. Okay, now watch, he's going to squirt some water at you in a second here. Scallops live in Long Island Sound. They're good to eat. What you eat is the muscle. There he goes. The muscle that in the middle that closes the shell. That's the part you eat. And you heard about scallops, the blue-eyed scallop? Okay, whenever he opens his shell, if you look around the edge of the shell, you'll see some little blue dots. See those little blue dots? Those are all eyes. Okay? So when they say the blue-eyed scallop, they really do have blue eyes. Okay? There you go. See all those little blue dots? Those are eyes. Now what he's trying to do is swim. Scallops can swim. If we look around and back here, see the shell? The shell doesn't quite close all the way. There's a little gap there. And when he claps his shell, he sends 2 jets of water out the back, and he flies around the bottom like a little spaceship.
Can he do it in the water?
Well, usually the big guys don't. The little guys swim all over the place. But they can swim if they have to. Who else we got in here? Oh, this guy here. This guy here.
I like eating them.
Okay, this is a blackfish. This also has an Indian name. It's called a tautog. Okay, these guys get to be about 12 or 15 pounds, and they're pretty good to eat. And if you look at him when he opens his mouth, you'll see some little white teeth in there. See the little white teeth yet?
No.
When he opens his mouth, he's got buck teeth. The reason he's got teeth is that his favorite food is blue mussels. Okay, they're like clams. They have shells, but they don't bother taking them out of the shells. They just crunch them up, shells and all. They also eat crabs too as they get older. These guys like to hang around rocks and docks and things like that. So I put him down. He'll go find a little corner to hide in. What, lobster?
Sure.
Okay. I'll give you a little lobster anatomy lesson. Okay? Now this is a girl lobster. You know how I can tell? It's got bracelets on, see? See the bracelets? The girl lobsters wear bracelets. The boy lobsters don't, right? No, these are elastic bands we put on so you don't get bitten by these big crusher claws. They hurt, so you don't want to stick your finger in there. But actually, this is a boy lobster, okay? And this one over here, this is Larry, and this is Loretta. And the way you tell the difference is if you look underneath the tail, you see this very first pair of legs up near the body? See they're kind of hard and white? That means it's a boy. And if you look at this one and they're soft and feathery, that's a girl lobster, and that's how you tell the difference. So this is Larry, and this is Loretta.
So the women have the hairy legs?
That's the one.
You can keep him, but not her.
Huh? Yeah, this guy's big enough to keep.
Had a big lobster and a little lobster.
So let's put him back, and we'll talk about Larry here for a while. Okay, feel that shell. Okay? Right. Now, the thing is now, if that shell is hard, right?
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. How do lobsters grow? The shell's hard, can't stretch like your skin does. How do they grow?
They split open and grow a new one?
Exactly. See this right here? See this line down the middle of his back, that blue line?
Yeah.
Okay, they split open. That's like a zipper. And he just splits open down the back and sort of wiggle out of his shell backward. And then what happens? You got a bunch of naked lobsters running around on the bottom of the ocean?
No, he has a new exoskeleton.
Okay. He's got, what he's got is underneath this shell is another shell, but it's soft. Okay? So he climbs out of that shell, he goes and hides somewhere, and he drinks a lot of water, blows himself up like a balloon. Okay? And then he waits a couple of days till his shell gets hard, and then he lets that water out, and that leaves him a little bit of room to grow inside the new shell. Okay? So that's how lobsters grow. Here's another neat thing about lobsters, okay? Your mouth goes this way, right? Your leaders tell me your mouth goes this way all the time, too. Lobster's mouth goes this way, it goes sideways. Okay, and I'm going to show you. If I open up these little appendages in front, you'll see something that looks like grungy yellow teeth. Can you see them? Okay, you see how his teeth, grungy yellow teeth go sideways? Okay, so they never brush their teeth. That's why they're grungy and yellow. Huh? No, I gotta take them back to work, actually. Okay? So lobsters' mouths go sideways. Their shells are hard. They split open and grow a new shell when they need to get bigger. Okay? You ever notice that you see how the lobster has a big paddle at the back of its tail?
They
Okay?
fly just like the clams, right?
Right. Have you guys ever tried to catch crayfish?
Yeah.
If you're gonna grab a crayfish, where do you reach for? The head or you grab behind?
Behind.
Behind. Why? Because as soon as you scare him, which way is he going to go?
Backwards.
Backwards, because he takes that big tail and that big paddle and scoops water right underneath him. Okay, so lobsters do the same thing. Okay. How about this guy over here? Who knows what this is?
Starfish.
Yep, starfish is what most people... stuck to the wall. Starfish is what most people call these, but their real name is a sea star, because he's not really a fish, is he? Okay? And the thing is, you see this orange spot? Yeah. Okay, everybody thinks that's an eye, but it's not. It's called a madreporite. And what it is, it's a strainer, because starfish are hydraulic. Okay? We turn this guy over. And you see that's his stomach sticking out a little bit. Okay, you see all these little suction cup tube feet that they have? Okay, those are hydraulically operated. They take in seawater and they push seawater into those feet to make them go out, and they take the seawater out to make them come in. And that's why they've got this little strainer over here, because they don't want to pull in anything besides seawater that might clog up their plumbing. Okay, who knows what starfish eat?
Clams.
Clams. Did you ever try
They pull open a clam.
Did you ever try and open a clam? Pretty hard, huh? Well, the reason these guys do it is because they have all these little suction cup feet, and they wrap around them and they start pulling. Now the clam's only got 2 muscles to hold his shell closed, but the starfish has got hundreds of tube feet. So he's got his foot here, and when that one gets tired, he takes it off, slaps a different one on. And that one gets tired, he takes it off, puts a different one on. But meanwhile, that poor little clam's only got 2 muscles to hold his shell closed. So the starfish keeps pulling until the clam gets tired. And then this is the real gross and disgusting part that all scouts like. That's right. His stomach comes out of his mouth, which is right here in the middle. He turns his stomach inside out through his mouth, puts it inside the clam shell, eats the clam in the shell, and pulls his stomach back in. That's like you sitting at the dinner table, and your stomach comes out on your mouth, runs around your plate, and gets all the food, and then goes back in. That would be cool. I knew you'd like that. Okay, so that's a starfish. Anything else you want to talk about while you're here?
I never seen that fish. Spider.
Oh, this guy here? Yeah, that's a sea robin. Okay.
Trooper Charles Shaw will be our representative here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As he said before, my name is Trooper Charles Shaw. I'm with the Connecticut State Police Canine Unit, and I'm assigned to work in Troop G in Westport. This is my partner, Saxon. Saxon is a 5.5, almost 6-year-old male German Shepherd. He was donated to the Connecticut State Police by the Guiding Eyes for the Blind in Paterson, New York. And all of the German Shepherds that we use are donated. Most are donated either by guide dog foundations such as Guiding Eyes or the Fidelco Foundation in Bloomfield, Connecticut. Presently, the Connecticut State Police has 45 German Shepherd canine teams stationed at the 12 troops throughout the state. There are another 15 narcotics detector dogs and 4 explosives or bomb-sniffing dogs, which belong to the Emergency Services Unit. And again, they're all spread out throughout the state. None of the canine handlers who work for the Connecticut State Police do canine handling full-time. We are all assigned to work at a troop where we will be assigned to do patrol and general policing duties. As I say, I was given Saxon when he was 6 weeks old, and when he was a year old, I went into the Connecticut State Police training program with him. And that was a 4-month training program of 5 days a week up at the Connecticut State Police Academy in Meriden, Connecticut. During that time, we covered tracking, trailing of human scents, finding of lost subjects in buildings, lost subjects in woods. We did evidence recovery, and he was trained basically to find anything with a human scent. When he was 2 years old, we were picked for the search and rescue dog team. And what that is the dogs are trained to work off lead and to find lost or missing people that you don't know where they went to. For example, if somebody were to be lost in the woods and you didn't know where they started, we would bring the search and rescue team in and they would find any human scent, any person that was in the woods. They're also used in evidence and in body recovery. Probably the most recent example of that is the explosion in Oklahoma City, where they brought quite a few canine search and rescue teams in to locate the victims. Our canine teams were brought down to the World Trade Center for the explosion there, and it was two dogs from the Connecticut State Police that located the last two victims. They were available to any local department 24 hours a day, and we, as I say, we've gone out of state. I've traveled with him to Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island on temporary assignments. We also look for human evidence. For example, if somebody were to take a body and were to bury the body, the dog will detect a buried body. And they'll detect a body that's been buried for quite some time. Last summer we found a body which had been submerged in water for approximately 6 months, and the dog was able to indicate where the body was, and the divers were able to locate it. But when we start the training, the first thing we do is obedience. That's the foundation of everything that we do, that the dog and the handler have to become a team. He has to obey, not because I make him obey, but because he wants to obey. Heel. He learns how his obedience commands both off and on the lead. Heel. Now. Heel. Now. Now, as I said, I take this dog on patrol with me every night. I work the midnight shift. He has to be able to work not just next to me, but if I go to stop a car, he'll stay in the car until I call for him. So he has to be able to respond to my commands, both verbally, down, and in case I don't want the person who I have stopped to know what I'm doing, he also responds without my voice. Now, if he's sitting in the car and I go to call for him, I can call him over and I can walk away from him. And those are the basic commands that we start with in work, and everything else is built up from there. Now, as I said, he has to do what I tell him to, not because I'm forcing him to, but because he wants to. So his only reward is a tennis ball. Now, I'm not going to throw it up here because he'd jump off the Empire State Building for me if I asked him to. But as I said before, one of the things he does is human scent recovery. He does evidence recovery, which is the same as the one of the things that the Labrador over there from the Conservation Department does. But I'm going to give you a little bit of example of how he does evidence recovery. Okay, we'll tell a little story. Imagine we have a stolen car, or we have a robbery, and police department chases the car gets away from them, and they find the car crashed a little bit later, but there's no occupant with it. The only thing they could describe the car was the car had New York license plates, and it was a yellow Pontiac. Well, later on they find a yellow Pontiac. The yellow Pontiac has no license plate, but it probably fits it. There's nobody around with it. And we know it was a robbery, and what was used in the robbery was a knife. So now we found the car, we have nobody with it. I'll bring the dog to the car and I'll send the dog off the car seat. And the dog will take me along the trail that the person driving the car used to escape. Now once we track up to the person and we find this person who's escaped, the dog will then identify by jumping, putting his paws up on the person, barking, or otherwise indicating to me that this is the person he was tracking. Now the person says, I don't know what you're talking about. I was just out here for a walk. Well, we need more than just the dog to tell us that that was the person. So what I do is I take the dog back along the route that we went, and I tell him we want to look for evidence. Now, we found a car with no license plate. We found a person walking with no weapon. So we have to then go along the trail that we were, and I'll ask the dog to help me find evidence. I'm showing him his ball. He wants to play with that ball. Okay, fetch it up. Good work, fetch it up. Fetch it up. He knows. Show me, come on, show me. No, fetch it up. Good work. Show me what you found. Good work. And he's sitting where he found a knife. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Now you notice he didn't pick the knife up in his mouth. And sometimes you'll see dogs are trained to pick it up in their mouth. We don't want him picking it up for a couple of reasons. One, if the knife wasn't in the sheath, he could cut himself. And two, we have a knife, we have a person, we're going to want to check this knife for fingerprints, and we don't want it to lick them all off. Now, we're still looking for more things. We'll keep him going. Saxon. Fetch it up. Fetch it up. Fetch it up. Fetch. Fetch it up. So by finding the license plate, we're able to identify that was the car. Okay, what I'm going to show you now is show you how he's trained as a search and rescue dog. And the way we train the dogs is we train them to find human scents. We get chemicals that are made up by the laboratory, that are made up by the medical examiner's office, which are supposed to simulate what a body would smell like if the person was no longer living. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out 3 cans, paint cans, and inside one of the paint cans is going to be a training aid, which is going to have a scent, which is going to simulate a buried body. And I'm going to ask Saxon, I'll show you nothing up my sleeve, and I'll show you which can has the item in it. And then I'm going to set the 3 cans down here, and I'm going to ask somebody from the audience to come out and mix the cans up so that it has somebody else's scent on it besides mine. How about the Cub Scout right in the middle? Oh, you wait right down there and I'll be right down for you. Can has some things in it, and to make it even more difficult, I'm going to put the lid back on it. 2 cans that are empty, and I'm going to ask him to lay them out in a row, and when he puts them down, just like finding the pea under the shell, I'm going to ask Saxon to come down here and find the can that has the pads and the tennis ball in it. Okay, would you line those up for me? Put about 10 feet between them. Thank you. Spread them out. Oh, spread them out a little bit. Pull one right about here. that other one. Put it all the way down. Put it all the way down over here. That'll make it too easy. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Saxon, I'm going to bring him down here. I'm going to stand over at the fence, and I'm going to ask Saxon to go and to tell me which can has the training aid in it. And what we would do, down. You know what we're going to do, don't you? Okay, I said, well, some of the things that we would do this for is if we were looking for victims of a building collapse. We'd do it if we were looking for evidence from, say, a murder. Or we could even have a missing person who, from one reason or another, we were unable to find. Sometimes it happens. People get lost, people wander away, and after several days, they decide that they can't find them, and at that point, they decide it's time to call in the dogs. Well, maybe what would have been a better thing to do was as soon as the person was missing to call, and we would get a German Shepherd, or would get one of our bloodhounds to come out. But in any event, very often what we're done, or sometimes you don't even know where the person is. We worked on a case where the New York State Police arrested somebody for a murder, and he admitted to committing a murder in Massachusetts, and all he could tell him was it was in Mount Greylock State Park. So we spent 3 weeks up there, 7 dogs spent 3 weeks up there looking for evidence. And we didn't actually uncover any bodies, but we did find evidence that a crime had been committed up there. Show me the can. Good boy! Good boy! Okay, that was an example of how Saxon does a free sense, an air search. If he was to be tracking somebody, if you told me that one of the Boy Scouts had gone off to go berry picking or to go on a hike and had gotten lost and you wanted us to find him, an easier way would be if we took a scent sample. We'd go back to your tent, we'd get your sleeping bag, we'd bring the sleeping bag to the last place they'd seen you and let him smell your sleeping bag, and then he would go on, he would follow your trail to wherever you had gotten to. We use the free scent search when we can't tell where the person last was, and all they can say was we saw him somewhere in Huntington Park. We saw him somewhere in Mesquamacut Beach, and then we have to use a free scent. Okay, does anybody have any questions about canines or about the canine program that I could answer for them? Yes, sir. Okay, the question was how long do the dogs stay in service? They usually stay in service till they're about 7 or 8 years old. We've kept some on the road as long as 9 years old. Okay, all right. Stand back, guys. There should be enough for everybody here. Unless somebody wants to do something else. Yes.
You know
Can you use them on the highway?
Dave
Sure do.
Yeah. He's my brother-in-law's brother.
Oh, okay.
We know Remy.
Yeah, Dave was in class right after me.
Was he? Remy tried to join us for dinner about a month ago.
Oh. Did Dave know he was joining you for dinner?
No, Lucy went him upstairs.
You're welcome. Where?
Here, Jim, we'll get one for
Oh,
Kyle.
no, that's a bump he's got on the back.
Here you go, Jim. Free hand up there.
Yes.
But you wanted to
Kyle.
Let's see, how long?
why we've been trying to get Clemson out here.
Hey, they should put your name up there.
Hey, that's my own. What? Here. Sit. Oh, great. Okay, friend, get over here and dance. What's this?
My name's up there, John. Man, my name's up there.
Yo, you could have turned on and started saying stuff. Yeah.
You want to go up on top of the ceiling or something?
Yeah, we can get it.
Here's where this is.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay. Where is it?
Kid, don't drop that.
Do it. You actually put that one up on top of your shoulder. Oh, yeah.
I have to do it like this.
There you go. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
What about now? We're going to come back down.
All right, we'll do that. Hey, Mike, just hang out here for a while. All right?
Ready, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. viewing now is Troop 3's illustrious Gateway as we're taking a 90-foot ride to the top of Pagasa Hook and Ladder's aerial ladder. Doing their model campground here. Some of the other displays in the area. A viewing stand for the various shows happening here today. Hi guys.
Well, why don't you say so? Have a seat by my campfire and I will make you some wholesome dinner. Thank you. Well, while you eat, I will tell you how to get to my friend, the wizard's house. He should be able to help you. We're gonna see a wizard.
So, Johnny and Skippy are on their way to the wizard's house. I hope you'll give them some help. Did you notice that when Johnny asked the ogre for help, when he asked him with certain words, he got the help he was looking for? Now let's see if he has any luck with the wizard.
Excuse me, but could you? Give me a test tube and hurry about it, you brat. Don't touch that. You're gonna get your dirty little paws all over it. Didn't you little rugrats will make my gray hair grayer. Didn't your parents ever teach you to be a little courteous and kind? By golly, you're absolutely right. Where are my manners? What do you fine fellows doing in these woods anyway? We're trying to find a way out of the land of the drums. I mean dreams. Well, if you come with me, I will show you a secret path that will lead you home. Why, thank you, sir. You're very welcome.
And as I said before, if you weren't a good shot, you got one shot. No. Then the deer would have run away that time, see? This only does it when you're trying to show somebody how to do it.
Your powder's right.
Yeah, I didn't keep the powder. You seeing a spark?
Yo, Bear got him by now.
I broke the flint. I can show you the same thing with this. I fired this when I walked on stage, and the problem with it, as I said, was if you missed the first shot, you then had to dig in your pouch, take your powder out. This takes about 50 grains of black powder. For our purposes today, my bullets consist of paper towel from the hot dog stand. See, if you had missed your deer on the first shot, he'd have been long gone by now. Then you tamp it down. Take a cap. You're ready to go. I'm going to try this guy once more here. Thank you.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. To where?
Okay, now you can dump the kids out.
across the water. We'll walk across the mist with a little peace and some harmony. We'll take the world together. We'll take it by the hand. Yes, indeed, our son. Sorry you're standing there. Your eyes were red.
Okay. Things look swell, things look great. Gonna have the whole world on a plate. starting here, starting now. Honey, everything's coming up roses. Clear the decks, clear the tracks. We've got nothing to do but relax. Blow a kiss, take a bow. Honey, everything's coming up roses. Now's our inning. Stand the whole world on its ear. Said it's fitting. That'll be just the beginning. Curtain up, light the lights. We've got nothing to hit but the heights. Things look swell, things look great. I can tell, just you wait. The lucky star I talk about is due. Honey, everything's coming up roses for me and for you. Have faith, hope, and charity. That's the way to live successfully. How do I know? The Bible tells me so. Do good to your enemies, and the blessed Lord you'll surely please. How do I know? The Bible tells me so. Don't worry about tomorrow, just be real good today. The Lord is right beside you, He'll guide you all the way. Have faith, hope, and charity, that's the way to live successfully. How do I know? The Bible tells me so. Somebody stole my gal. Somebody stole my pal. Somebody came and took her away. She didn't even say she was leaving. The kisses I love so. He's getting now, I know. And gee, I know that she would come to me if she could see her broken-hearted, lonesome pal. Somebody stole mine, somebody stole mine, somebody stole my gal. Yeah, when I'm paddling home. Yeah, when I'm paddling
sunny side of the street. Can't you hear the pitter patter? And the hefty tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
Just because you think you're so pretty, just because you think you're so hot, just because you think you got something nobody else has got. Though you made me spend all my money, you left and called me old Santa Claus. But I'm telling you, honey, I'm leaving you just because, just because.
Okay, we'll just keep going, okay? How long do you want us to go? Mention my name in Sheboygan. It's the greatest little town in the world. Just tell them all you're an old friend of mine, and every door in town will have a big welcome sign. So mention my name in Sheboygan, and if you ever get in a jam, just mention my name. I said mention my name, but please don't tell them where I am. Don't worry, okay. Mention my name in Paducah. It's the greatest little town in the world. I know a gal you'll simply adore. She was Miss Paducah back in 1904. So mention my name in Paducah. And if you ever get in a spat, just mention my name. I said mention my name, but please don't tell them where I'm at. Mention my name in Old Derby. It's the greatest little town in the world. I told the mayor I'd really go far. I even gave the sheriff an exploding cigar. So mention my name in Old Derby. And if you ever get in a spat, just mention my name. I said mention my name, but please don't tell them where I'm at.
yes indeed, that a scout must practice daily. Help those in need, do a good turn daily. Be a good scout, be loyal, clean and brave. Never say die, just let your banners wave. On your honor, do your best when they put you to the test. And always be a good scout.
If you knew Susie like I know Susie, oh, 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 what a girl. There's none so classy as this fair lassie. Oh, oh, holy Moses, what a chassis. She went riding, we didn't balk. Back from Yonkers, I'm the one that had to walk. If you knew Susie like I knew Susie, oh, oh, what a girl.
Okay. When do you want to
That's good. Go with it.
Sioux City Sioux, Sioux City Sioux, I'll swap my horse and dog for you, for you. Sioux City Sioux, Sioux City Sioux, don't care what's true, as my sweet Sioux City Sioux.
Try this again. There's one verse, Bruce. There's like show business like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Everything the traffic will allow. Nowhere can you get that happy feeling that when you are stealing that extra bow. There's no people like show people, they smile when they are low. Even with the turkey that you know will close, the night you open and there you are. Next day on your dressing room they've hung the stuff. Let's go on with the show.
Okay, how about Troop 3's gang show? Let's hear it for them. Come on, I think they were great. You guys are real good. Really. I gotta catch the show next year. Next, coming up for your listening enjoyment, a special known throughout the area. Come on, it's your turn. Good, excellent. To introduce our next guest, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Bob Winnett. Bob? Thanks, Frank. Hey, stop that phone up there.
These are some songs I call Irish stew. It's a little bit of this song, a little bit of that song. We throw them all in a pot, mix them all up, and it comes out through here. Here we go. First song is probably the oldest song known in Ireland today, called The Coolin'. much. That last song was the regimental song for General George Armstrong Custer. If you ever watch any of the old John Wayne movies. There was a song that came over here long about the turn of the century. There were a lot of Irish songs came out of New York, and songs they called Camalias. And a Camalia takes the first three words of almost every song that was written about that time. Come all you old men, come all you young girls, or come all you whatever. And they call them Camalias. And the best part of it was that many of the Irish, so-called Irish songs were not written by Irishmen at all. They were written by vaudevillians, mostly Jewish boys and vaudeville. It made a lot of people happy and a lot of people laugh. And this is one of my favorites. Well, 5 years ago last Thursday night, I left the port of Cork and aboard a ship from O'Leary's Island, landed in New York. With divil a friend to greet me there, a stranger on the shore, and I wore a gallant Irish heart and fortune being the war. Now here I am back again, on dear O'Leary's Island. My friends, they greet me on the quay, and they greet me with a smile. There were faces there I'd surely forgotten, were right so long away. But mother, she introduced them all, the rest to me to say, shake hands with your uncle Mike, me boy, shake hands with your sister Jason. And here is the girl you used to swing on the garden gate. Shake hands with all the neighbors and kiss the Colleen's all. You're as welcome as the flowers in May to dear old Donegal. Well, they gave a party when I came back, and they came from near and far, and the road was filled for near a mile with Irish Johns and cars. The whiskey flowed like water to fill our hearts with joy, and the piper played an Irish reel to greet the Yankee boy. Tomorrow off to church, I'm going, what did I believe? Now my sweet little Connie, sweet Biddy McGee, for Biddy was true and faithful to her Barney or the sea, and will join the harp and shamrock with the stars of liberty. Then came Hannigan, Flanagan, Gilligan, Milligan, Dumpy, McCuffy, Malarkey, Malone, Daphne, Cafferty, Donnelly, Connolly, Dooley, O'Hooley, Muldowney, Malone, Lanahan, Shanahan, Callahan, Hallahan, Hagan, O'Fagan, Houlihan, Flynn, Linehan, Minahan, Fogarty, Hogarty, Cully, O'Cully, McGinnis, McGinn, and Sullivan. I'll shake the hand of me, the hand of me sister Kate, and I'll hug and squeeze as much as I please when you're on the garden gate. I'll invite all the neighbors to be wet, great and small, and we'll live content and pay no rent in dear old Donegal. There you go. Can you hear that up there all right? Is it loud enough? Is it coming up? Good, good. I can't hear it down here. And here's a song that was very popular back a few years ago, and if you know some of it, if you know any of it, do you know all of it? Sing it all, whatever. There's a tear in your eye, and I'm wondering why, for it never should be there at all. With such power in your smile, sure it's stole your beguile, and there's never a teardrop should fall. With your sweet little tinkle laughter, like some fairy song, sure the whole world seems happy and bright. You should laugh all the while, and all other times smile, and a smile to me. Here you go, now come on. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure to like a morning spring, in the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away. There you go. Thank you very much. Here's some songs I call the ladies' songs. Everybody seems to know these songs. And Dewey should make a little noise out there. I'm going to sleep up here. I like to have people sing back at me. And get in these things because everybody knows it. She's the daughter of Rosie O'Grady. She's just an old-fashioned girl. She cared nothing for diamond rings, silkens and satins and fancy things. She's just a sweet little lady, and when you see her, you'll know why I'm proud I call her the daughter of Rosie O'Grady. Now here's a little song about her mother. Sweet Rosie O'Grady, my dear little Rose, she's my steady lady, most everyone knows, and soon we'll be married, and how happy we'll be, 'cause I love sweet Rosie O'Grady, and Rosie O'Grady loves me. And she had an auntie. Oh, Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer to. I'm crazy all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. And they all lived down there in the big city where the fare was $1 cheaper from Ireland. Oh, east side, west side, all around the town. The tots they bring around Rosie, London bridges falling down. Boys and girls together, me and baby on we tripped the light fantastic on the sidewalks all New York. And all winter long they froze themselves waiting for this as we have too. In the good old summertime, in the good old summertime, strolling down the shady lane with your baby line. You hold her hand and she holds yours, and that's a very good sign that she's your Tuesday in the good old summertime. And on Sunday afternoons, a stroll across the Brooklyn Bridge to watch the Irish play. And you'll walk many a mile today before you see a good game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. There you go. Mayor of Derby, the Honorable Alan Schlesinger.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Scouts, and good afternoon, parents. It's an honor to be with you. You know, when Marty asked me if Derby could be the host city for this very special event for all of us, I didn't say he even had to ask. I said it would be one of the greatest honors of my term of office here in the city of Derby to have Housatonic Council celebrate its 75th anniversary. That's a long time. Boy, that's even a long time for me, Scouts, because I'll tell you, I 75 years. I'm 37, so I guess it's twice as old as me, and I guess that's a lot of times as old as most of the young men here today. But I'll tell you, it's an exciting past, and even better and more exciting future for all of us, and of course your children and your children's children, as scouting will continue throughout the valley and play such a vital role in the development of all of our young people, all of our young men, as they approach into maturity. So from the Board of Aldermen and the City of Derby, welcome to all of you. Have a great day and a great evening. I understand you have a great performance. I'm going to try to make it up at the high school. I have another event, but I'll try to be there for that. It's an honor to have the governor, who I understand will be here any minute, and also, I guess, Miss Connecticut later on. So again, it's another bright day for Derby. Thank you for picking us as a host town. I'm not going to say you asked us. I'm going to say you picked us. And we do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll all have a great time. And this is just the beginning of another great 75 years for scouting here in the Valley. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Mayor Schlesinger. The next gentleman has two claims to fame, at least. One is that he's a member of the Housatonic Council Executive Board, and more importantly than that, he's also the mayor of Shelton, but we're talking about the important things here. More importantly than that, he's a life scout. The mayor of Shelton, Mark Loretti.
Thank you, Martin, and good afternoon, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be part of scouting, and I know I'm going to have to live with that stigma of a life scout for the rest of my life, seeing how my brother's an Eagle. So so my hat's off to all you Eagles. There's no question that 75 years is quite a period of time and has benefited many, many people during the course of that time. And it's a good testament to the fact that scouting is alive and well. It's going to continue to grow and to prosper and to benefit many young people. And that's what it's all about. I've always felt fortunate that I was able to be in scouting, and now, a few years later, I'm able to come back and serve in a different capacity, and I really look forward to that opportunity. So I want to wish everyone a great 75th Jubilee. A pleasure to be here, and a pleasure to be a part of it. Martin, thank you.
Thank you. Before I introduce the next gentleman, Mayor Schlesinger made reference to the Derby Board of Aldermen. One of their members has been hard at work for us all day as our official photographer. In fact, taking some photos that will be part of the presentation tonight in the high school gym. And I'd just like him to wave and for you to give a welcome to Alderman Mark Izzo right down here in front. How many people here are from Seymour? Whoa! Well then, you'll be happy to meet your first selectman, another member of our board of directors, the first selectman of the town of Seymour, my town of Seymour, John O'Toole.
Thank you. I'm the only Democrat, which can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. But the Republicans have mentioned to me that when you're a governor, sometimes you have to keep a pretty rigorous schedule. And Mayor Schlesinger said that I have to filibuster until the governor gets here. Unless there's a guitar player or a banjo player or what's his name, Mark Garofalo could play his accordion until the governor gets here. But actually, Mayor Schlesinger, he wrote my script for tonight, or for this evening, and he also said, on behalf of all of the mayors and myself as first selectman of Seymour, our real honor tonight is to see Ed Strang receive a high award, something that very few in the state of Connecticut have ever received. And it's, as we all know, and Marty points out, that we're all so lucky to have had the experience and to know Ed Strang and to honor him in this way as we are this evening. So that's a real thrill for myself and all of the mayors. No, I won't filibuster, and I won't go on, but I would like to explain, because you're probably saying, boy, Democrats really don't measure up in dress to Republicans. But the reason why I do not look like a dapper Democrat, or maybe not even like your first selectman or your mayor, is because I've been scaling walls, climbing towers, and walking ropes. Mayor Schlesinger just wrote a new line to my script. He does that at every alderman meeting. But people wonder why I was here all day, because my choice was to stay home and have my wife and my mother-in-law tell me what to do around the house, or read the paper about what somebody might be saying about me. But what I'd like to leave with you is that my pleasure is being associated with the Housatonic Council, and in a small way playing a role in its history and its future, and coming attraction. The best is yet to come this evening in tonight's show. So I hope to see most of you there, and thank you for letting me be involved. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all three of these gentlemen for the support that they show Scouting, not only today, but year-round. Also, during the day, and I've been looking across the audience, Select Woman Kate Cosgrove of Oxford has been here much of the day. I hate to put her on the spot, but are you still here, Mrs. Cosgrove? Mother of an Eagle Scout, member of the committee of Troop 1? I guess not. But it's nice to know she was here most of the day. Also, somebody else who's here, and I don't know where, but I'd like him to just stand up and wave. Someone who's a real good friend of Scouting here in Housatonic Council, the Executive Director of the Valley United Way, Jack Walsh. Where's Jack? He's here somewhere. He may be behind me. I don't know. Where is he? Give a holler, Jack. Where are you? Yeah, way in the back. Okay, we're just playing the waiting game now, so you don't want to listen to me. I'm going to put this thing down. The governor should be here any moment. Ed Strang is here, waiting for us. Yeah, let's hear it for Ed. But I'm going to... Before we introduce the governor, I'd like you to meet one or two other people who have some comments. First of all, the area director of Area 2 of the Northeast region of the Boy Scouts of America, Mr. Ron Rogers.
Thank you, Marty. I can see not too many of you went home from the busy activities of the day, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as my wife and I did in attending and enjoying the day with you. Next week, the Boy Scouts of America in Chicago will be holding their national meeting where all of the councils and representatives will be getting together in Chicago. And at that meeting, all of the regions of the Boy Scouts of America, 4 in all, of which we are the Northeast region, will be having their regional recognition dinners, at which time we will be presenting the Silver Antelope Award. Some of you may ask, what is the Silver Antelope Award? There are 3 awards in Scouting that are the highest awards adults can get, and they are given at 3 different levels. There's the Silver Beaver Award, which is given as the highest award that a council can give, the Silver Antelope Award, which is the highest award that a region can give, and the Silver Buffalo Award, which is the highest award that the National Council can give. It only goes to say that the higher the award, the fewer are given. And today you are going to have the privilege of seeing one of the persons most responsible, I must say, for scouting here in the Valley receive that award. Ed was to receive it at the national meeting, but we felt it is better to present it to him here so it can be witnessed by those of you that love Ed, and he can get it in front of you, receiving it to the people that he has given so much to, and to the scouting program that means so much to him in his life and in your life. So it is my privilege and honor to declare this, the National Court of Honor, open for the presentation of the Silver Antelope Award to Mr. Ed Strang. And I'll turn it over to your Scout Executive, Marty Cadle. Marty?
A former council president and our current council treasurer, and a very good friend of Ed's, John Rack.
Thank you, Marty. Just going to spend a couple of minutes with you reminiscing about some stories that Ed told me concerning himself and Governor Rowland. When Governor Rowland was in Congress, one time Ed had taken a group of Boy Scouts down to Washington to visit and see the sights. And Congressman Rowland was always very gracious to scouting and a particularly good friend of Ed Strang's. And Ed went to visit him and said, Congressman Rowland, I'd like to take these boys to the White House. And Congressman Rowland said, well, when do you want to do this? And he said, well, how about tomorrow? And Congressman Rowland thought about it for a minute, and he said, okay, Ed, okay, meet me there at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And he did, and Congressman Rowland personally escorted Ed and a group of scouts there. So he's been a great friend of scouting. And another time, it was a great privilege for me personally when Congressman Rowland then came down to Derby one time at Ed Strang's request for a Troop 3 Old Timers Night, and presented an Eagle badge to my son, which was a very important day for our family. Governor Rowland's been a great friend of scouting and a particularly great friend of Ed Strang's and scouting in the Valley. And without further ado, we'll move along with the program and introduce the governor to make the presentation.
But first, as is tradition at all Silver Beaver and Silver Antelope Courts of Honor, there's a citation from the Boy Scouts of America which should be read. And to do that, I'm going to call forward Randy Ritter.
Thank you. This is right out of the book that's going to be presented in Chicago. Mr. Cub Scouting, Eagle Scout, Scoutmaster of Troop 3 Derby for 30 years, and member of the Troop Committee for 35 more years. Ed guided 195 to achieve the Eagle Scout Award. As a pilot program, Ed co-organized the English Wolf Cub program at the United Methodist Church in Derby in 1927. Cub Scouting began officially in the United States in 1930, and Pac 3 was chartered to the church, and Ed became a sanctioned Cub Master, a position he has served for 68 years. He was an explorer advisor of Post 33, sponsored by the Derby Shelton Rotary Club in 1939, and a committee member for 55 years. In 1969, 1971, 1975, and 1990, Ed led 40 explorers on 3-week tours of Europe. Ed has served the Housatonic Council as camp director from 1930 to 1942 at Camp Irving, training committee for 10 years, camping committee since 1935, and its chairman since 1955. The Ed Strang Scout Reservation is named in his honor. He is an executive board member since 1955. He was a New England delegation assistant and scoutmaster at the first National Jamboree in 1937 in Washington, D.C. Ed also led troops to the 1950, 1953, and 1957 National Jamborees. While serving in the U.S. Army, Ed organized a Boy Scout troop in Budapest, Hungary in 1944. He organized the Derby Little League in 1949 and still serves on the board of directors. A member of the Derby Shelton Rotary Club, he served as president and is a Paul Harris Fellow. An 85-year member of the Derby United Methodist Church, he was Sunday school superintendent and has served 35 years on the board of trustees. After 42 years, Ed retired in 1975 as Derby office manager of United Illuminating Incorporated. His awards and honors are many and include Silver Beaver, Distinguished Eagle Scout, Vigil Honor of the Order of the Arrow, James E. West Fellow, United Way Humanitarian Award, Derby Shelton Boys and Girls Club Man of the Year, Derby Senior Center Man of the Year, and his portrait hangs in Derby City Hall. The Northeast Region, Housatonic Council, and the Valley salute with pride and distinguished service to youth and the community, and honors Ed and presents the Silver Antelope to Edmund D. Strang.
And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce this next person. 8-year-old Wolf Cub Scout, Steve Simsky from Pack 24 in Shelton. Just a little more so they can see you.
I'd like to present the Governor of Connecticut, Mr. John Rowland.
Thank you so very much. Mayor Schlesinger, Mayor Loretti, all of our Scout leadership here today. First, let me say it's nice to be home. What's Steve doing? Somebody's laughing. Oh, I'm sorry. First Selectman O'Toole, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. They came down to greet me down below. Sorry about that. My apologies. I didn't realize he was here. It was not a partisan thing. Please. I learned a long time ago, growing up in Waterbury, that you never separated Republicans or Democrats because you'd lose every day of the week if you did that. And I know that's true in Derby and throughout the entire valley. I spent enough time down here over my years in Congress, so my apologies. And let me say, first of all, it's nice to be home. And one of the things I miss about the United States Congress is the many trips and opportunities I had to be in the valley, and now it's limited to just a few football games and a few other visits, and something like this I would never, ever miss. And before I go down with my other remarks, there is somebody else I'd also like to introduce. And I'm getting a little jealous, I should tell all of you. If you've been watching Channel 3 and Channel 8 News over the last 10 days, she's been getting an awful lot of attention. And actually, it's all been good press, you know. I get press, but not all of it is good. Hers has been good. And to answer the question that many of you may have, yes, I have been buying her flowers every day of the week. For those of you who didn't watch the stories, I'll tell you about it later. Maybe I'll take a quick moment. You can imagine my horror when, during the 4 or 5 interviews that my wife had during one particular week, she was on every night. It spoiled my entire social calendar, watching her on the 6 and 11 o'clock news. But you can imagine my horror when Diane Smith from Channel 8 looked up at one point and looked right at my wife and said, "So tell me, is the governor romantic?" I felt my entire political future slipping through my fingers. I was on the edge of my seat as I waited for her answer. And I looked at her before the answer. I said, "Honey, did you lie?" And she said, "Yes, I did lie." She told Diane Smith I was romantic, and I thought I was out of the woods until she asked the follow-up question, "Well, what does he do?" And I said, "Honey, did you lie?" She said, "Yes, I lied." She said, "We go out for romantic dinners and we go for romantic weekends." I can't remember when that happened in the last 4 or 5 months, but I appreciate that. And then, once again, I thought I was out of the woods. And then Diane Smith said, "Well, does he ever bring you home flowers?" My wife thought for a second. She couldn't lie no longer. She looked straight into the camera and she said, as a matter of fact, he never brings me home flowers. And so I assure you and guarantee you, and for all the hundreds of people that have been writing me love poems to give to my wife, I appreciate all those suggestions and the postcards and the love notes. I'm doing pretty well on my own. I appreciate it, though. But today, we had to stop up at the mall earlier this morning to pick up some items. And I'm standing out by the railing, and one of our people was with us and leaned over and said, hey, isn't that the First Lady? Isn't that Mrs. Rowland? And the young man with me said, yeah, it is. And then he said, well, then that must be the governor with her. So please let me introduce the First Lady of Connecticut, my wife, Patty Rowland. Stephen, I want to thank you for that introduction. It takes a lot of courage to stand up in front of all these people and introduce me, and I want to just thank you for the courage that you have in standing up in front of 1,000 people. And Patty and I were sharing that between our 5 children, we're not sure if any one of them would have been able to do that. So you're a great Cub Scout, and you're going to be a great Boy Scout, and we're very, very proud of you. We heard a few stories of my relationships and my introductions to Ed Strang. I can remember the very, very first time I met Ed. And it was more than 10 years ago when I was called down to Derby to, I believe the meetings in those days were in the basement of the church. And I remember so well getting there, and I watched this person in action. I saw somebody that was organized. I saw somebody that had tremendous, tremendous respect, not only from the Scouts, but from all the parents that were there, and certainly from the community. I saw somebody who loved what he was doing. I mean, had a tremendous emotional love for Scouting and for all the tremendous benefits from Scouting. And I've got to tell you, I was touched at that moment, and I knew that Ed Strang was the type of person that I wanted as my friend. He was the type of person that I wanted to stand up to and respect and admire. And he is someone that I have respected and admired now for more than 10 years. The accomplishments can fill books, but Ed Strang never did it for accomplishments, and here we are celebrating literally a 75th anniversary, and I know it goes even beyond that. But I've had a chance in my public life that goes back now about 15 years to meet the products of Scouting. And that's the greatest testimony to Ed Strang, to other Scout leaders, and to everyone here today. It's not proclamations, it's not awards, but it's the product, the byproduct of all that you do. And I know when Joe Nesteriak started working for me, for example, an Eagle Scout, I see in him a quality that separates him from so many other people. And I see in many other Eagle Scouts and people with Scouting experience and background a certain quality and a commitment and a dedication and a loyalty. And loyalty is so very, very important. And as a parent, I've got to tell you, this is a tough society. It's a tough world to bring children up. Society has changed, right, wrong, or indifferent, but it's changed. And there are many other pressures out there. And the most difficult job in the world is to be a parent and bring our children up without any of the problems that we see happening across our state and across our nation. And so today I want to pay tribute not only to Ed, but to all of you, as parents, as Scout leaders, as activists, as community leaders, as political leaders, for all that we do throughout Derby, throughout the Valley, for all that we do for our young people. Because regardless of our jobs, regardless of our positions, the greatest accomplishment we can have is to bring our children up as good citizens. And that's what Scouting does. So today, as well as the Silver Antelope Award, I would also, and I won't read all of it, but I have a proclamation here, and it honors and makes references to all of Ed Strang's accomplishments. And it talks, of course, about the Silver Antelope Award, and it says basically in recognition of his significant accomplishments and his long-standing dedication to the principles of the Boy Scouts of America, I, John G. Rowland, Governor of the State of Connecticut, do hereby officially commend and congratulate Edmund Strang as he receives the Silver Antelope Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring and praising and thanking a man who's had a tremendous impact on all of our lives. He's had an impact on our community, and has an impact on the state of Connecticut. Thank you very much. Silver Antelope Award for Distinguished Service to Youth, presented to Ed Strang upon nomination by the Regional Cabinet of the Northeast Region, and with the approval of the National Court of Honor, the officers of the National Council of the Boy Scouts of America hereby affix their signatures and the corporate seal, 1995. I also want to point out that this is signed by the President of the United States. Ed, we salute you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a word from the man himself. Ed, stay seated. Ed Strang.
I sort of lost my voice, so I can't talk very good. But I was very surprised to be delivered up here by 2 horses instead of 2 camels. But I think camels are cheaper now. And I want everybody to thank everybody who came tonight. This makes the council very, very attractive to anybody coming in. This makes the council very attractive to those coming in. Thank you for coming. The help of my 2 camels.
Who else could upstage the governor but Ed Strang? That concludes our program for now. However, it's my understanding that Ed will be down front for anyone who would like to congratulate him. I'm not sure whether Governor Rowland will be able to stay for a moment or two. He has another function to attend later this evening. We remind you all.
What I have to say will be very short because I don't know how long my voice will last. Boy Scouting and Cub Scouting do a lot of good things for you. And I was looking at these banners and remembering the Boy Scout oath about being brave, clean, reverent, trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, and thrifty. Those are excellent virtues. And I would strongly encourage you to try to practice them because not many people do. And I'm noticing more and more that there's a lot more anger in the world and a lot more sarcasm and a lot more vulgarity and a lot more worrying about myself rather than worrying about the other person. And I would just say to you to be countercultural. You know what I mean by that? I mean, be different than everyone else in the world. Try to be an apostle of Jesus Christ. And just ask yourself, what would Jesus do in this particular circumstance? You know, Jesus was a man's man. You know, sometimes he's portrayed as being kind of sissified, or a lot of times, you know, they think he was naive, but he wasn't. He stood up for what he believed in. And if you don't believe that, take a look at the crucifix. I hope you have one in your room. And just study that and realize that this is a young man that cared so much for us that he was willing to give his life. If you're prepared to sacrifice, if you're prepared to reach out to the next person, if you're prepared to change this world around and make it a better place to live, you will have been successful in your life. But if all you think about is yourself, you will not be successful. Jesus says, when all's said and done, and we appear before the judgment seat of God, he will ask us, what did you do on behalf of those who are less fortunate than yourself? And if you can answer, I did the best that I could. You know, I reached out to those who were homeless. I gave people who didn't have things. You know, I tried to share with them what I had. He will say, enter into the kingdom of God. And so, again, let me remind you to try to follow these virtues and just try to be courteous and kind and friendly and reverent. And God bless you. This guy's bothering me over here with the truck.
Gentlemen and scouts of all ages, welcome to our closing. At this time, I would like to present the Pagasset Lodge of the Housatonic Council's Order of the Arrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the 75th anniversary of the Housatonic Council this weekend. I'm sure you have had a delightful time seeing the many events of this jamboree. What you are about to see now is the Order of the Arrow Calling Out ceremony. In 1915, E. Erner Goodman founded the Order of the Arrow as a national brotherhood of Scout honor campers to strengthen troops and encourage outdoor experiences. The Order of the Arrow is based on brotherhood and cheerful service to fellow men. The honor of becoming a member of the Order of the Arrow is one that a scout cannot set out to earn on his own. The honor is bestowed on him by members of his troop. This is done when he has proved himself worthy of receiving it. He must be an outstanding scout and an unselfish camper. The candidates are nominated and elected to membership by fellow scouts in their own troops. They must meet certain entry qualifications that are established by the Order of the Arrow. The Order of the Arrow Lodge conducts youth-led meetings, plans and carries out activities, organizes council service projects for airmen, and develops summer camp promotion plans to help scouts prepare for and attend summer camp. The Order of the Arrow provides broad-based leadership opportunities that strengthen personal development for individual scouts and maintain interest in the scouting program. The ceremonies of the Order of the Arrow are designed to be rich and vibrant experiences which communicate the essence of the Order of the Arrow. This ceremony is a very solemn and important part of the Order of the Arrow experience. Please pay close attention to this event and share in the beauty of the ceremony. Thank you.
I welcome these candidates to begin the trail of brotherhood. This trail has many challenges. Test your skills and devotion to the principles of scouting. Your first test is to see and understand the following challenge. I select the strongest candidates to take this test. I ask you to lift this canoe over your shoulder. And bring it to the river. Over there. Now, I ask your fellow candidates to aid in your effort. Friends, learn from this. Learn as you are challenged. Your brothers give you the strength of many. Such is with the brotherhood of our lodge. Your brother will be your guide, your companion, your helper, and your friend. This now concludes our ceremony. I ask that you greet each other in the spirit of brotherhood as I greeted you in the beginning, and then join with the lodge leaving the council ring.
To the Order of the Arrow, Housatonic Lodge.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick words. A lot of these candidates that you saw tapped out today did not know that they were elected by their fellow Scouters to the Order of the Arrow. And the Order of the Arrow is a service-oriented group of the Boy Scouts. And one of our jobs is to go to camp and set up camp and prepare it for the summer camping season. And next week is Beaver Weekend. And I know that it's short notice to those candidates that didn't know, but they knew that Beaver Weekend was next weekend. And I'm hoping that all of them can attend the ordeal. But I'm also asking all of the OA members, past members, present members, to come up, non-members, to come up to Beaver Weekend next week at the Strang Camp Reservation, because there is a lot of work that needs to be done. We've got a committee who has set out all of the plans that need to be completed, but we need an awful lot of work. We also will be providing food for people in the dining hall who come up to work. There'll be a minimal charge of about $10 for meals for breakfast on Saturday, lunch on Saturday, dinner on Saturday, and breakfast on Sunday. So it's a great weekend. Everybody that's been there in the past can tell you that it's a lot of fun. And I really would appreciate it if the Scoutmasters could give me a call during the week sometime to let me know how many people are coming from their troops, so that we can plan on purchasing the necessary food so we don't have to go running out last minute to do it. The other thing is that if any candidates are not present today for the tap out, if the Scoutmaster can please see me after the closing today, and I will give them some materials, and if you can get to the boys who were not present today so that they can be apprised of what they need to bring and what they need to do to prepare for this weekend. And I think that's it. And I just hope to see everybody next weekend at Strang Reservation. Thank you.
Okay, would the selected mothers and their sons and daughter please come forward? And while they're coming, we've had a great weekend. Is that right? Yeah! What? I didn't hear you. Come on, you can make it louder. A lot better. There is one person which all of you should be thankful that made this weekend possible. It's the person who gave up her day to let you have this weekend. And they're coming up on, the representatives of that person are coming up on stage right now. And this is, of course, our mothers. Come on. Here comes our birthday girl.
A mother is someone who holds you close to her heart, always ready to guide you, with words of encouragement, yet setting you free, to find out for yourself just who you are and who you want to be. A mother is someone who dreams great dreams for you, yet accepts the dreams that you decide to follow, and that will love you just the way you are. With loving thanks, Mother, for all the things you've done for me that only you could do. Have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Thank you very much. We have a gift also for the rest of you mothers who are in the audience. So after the ceremony, if you'll come forward, we'll give you your gifts for the time you gave us to have your boys here to have fun. Okay, if everyone will please stand and look towards the flag at the end of the field. Scout salute. Two. I have one announcement to make. Several of you participated in races yesterday, and everybody should know who won those races. First, for the Cub Scouts, the wheelbarrow race was won by Pack 3. The Boy Scout sled race, first place went to the crew of Troop 65, led by Crew Chief Joe Miko. Second place went to the crew of Troop 7, led by Jim Gronowski. In third place went to the crew of Troop 11, Phoenix Patrol, led by Pat Gaynor. As soon as the names are inscribed on the plaques, they will be presented to these crews. Thank you. And I would like to meet probably the person that inspired and really did the most, I think, to contribute to this weekend, and certainly was an inspiration to her all, our own council executive, Marty Goodell.
Happy Mother's Day! And happy birthday, Mrs. Davis, Troop 11. All right. And Lynn Wiley, it's her birthday? All right, Mrs. Wiley, happy birthday. One of the amazing things that most of you may not be aware of about a Jubilee of this magnitude that we've enjoyed this weekend is that it was entirely volunteer-driven with literally hundreds of volunteers, just like all of you who've been putting in countless hours for the last 9 or 10 months. Some of the fellows behind me over the last month have had 2 to 4 meetings a week and have been in the office during the day, as much as I have, it seems. We certainly can't name them all, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to name a couple folks, because
everything you've seen, the great things, the things that didn't work out the way we wanted to, everything was driven by volunteers, by men and women who think that kids are important and who think that scouting is important and took time out of their busy schedules to do a little bit for all you young people out here. You've met already several times this weekend our program vice chief, Dr. Robert Singletary. He had a lot of people, and let's hold our applause, or we're going to be here until next Mother's Day, or at least Father's Day anyway. Also working with Bob in that program section, coordinating all the Boy Scout participation was Mr. Joe Palutis right down here, who runs all the camporees that we ordinarily have. Running the Cub Scout participation program was Joe Majoris. I'm not sure where Joe is. Maybe I should have everybody stand up and yell or as I call your name or something. Is Joe here? He's probably still up in the campsite. Running the religious programs, which was quite a feat in itself, Mrs. Ann Stanky. Coordinating and actually writing the OA ceremony that you just saw this morning, Mr. Jim Willis. The guy who organized and coordinated most of the outside exhibitors, be our program director at summer camp this year, Chuck Collins. I know Chuck is out here somewhere. Oh, of course, John Dorso, who was just up here on stage, who put together the Indian Village. How about that show last night? Let me tell you who put that show together. That was our vice chairman for the grand finale, Randy Ritter, right here. Oh, yeah, well, before I get into some of the people involved in the show, I forgot one of the most important people, as you always do when you list a lot of names like this, and I apologize. The guy who coordinated and did a tremendous job with several other people, as all of these people did, had crews and committees working with them, but the guy who coordinated the mini-stage program yesterday, Bob Winnick, right down here. He'd been working on that for 6 months, lining up all the acts and getting the truck and doing all those things. But back to the grand finale. You know, that show, yeah, we had a couple of paid technicians there with their equipment because we didn't have the equipment. But the entire production was written, produced by volunteers, literally none of whom had any experience doing that kind of thing. It was totally incredible. The stage managers for last night, and I don't think they're here this morning, the Scoutmaster at Troop 1 of Oxford, Jeff Anderson and his wife Wendy, who also painted that mural that you saw, the mountain scene on the back of the stage set. Where are they? Where's Jeff? Do I see Jeff? To my left. Where is he? All right. The lighting crew, the stage crew, the people who moved all those props. Let me tell you, folks, this is kind of interesting. I was sitting in the back last night, right next to Randy Ritter, and the show went, what, 3 hours? Randy never stopped talking. He had his microphone on, and I mean this in the very best sense, had a microphone on, hooked to the people backstage, and it was a constant, bring out the canoe, cue Baden-Powell, bring the lights up, cue the video, Marty talk, da-da-da-da-da, for 3 hours straight. Never shut up for 3 hours. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable, though, the work that went into it, and he should certainly be recognized for that. Mark Izzo, again, the alderman from Derby who did all the photographs. One little snafu. You're not supposed to talk about the things that don't work. All the pictures that were taken yesterday, and literally, we had to get a politician who wouldn't get stopped by the police to drive him to Milford yesterday morning to get them developed. It's not easy to get slides developed in an hour like it is photographs, and he did that. And then we had some special equipment to take some slides of the governor and some of the late afternoon activities, Ed Strang's presentation, and they didn't come out. It was really a shame, but I know that a lot of you were taking pictures, and so we'll get a lot of those. John O'Toole, first selectman of Seymour, who of course played the newspaper reporter last night. Wasn't that great? What a guy, huh? I don't know, is John here this morning? He's been here all weekend, so I don't know. Our vice chief for logistics. Now this is the guy that you never see, but if we hadn't been for him and his crew, this wouldn't have happened. Where is he? Don Pendergast, right over here. Don and his crew Sergeant John Welch of the Ansonia Police Department. Where's John? Is he here? And those explorers who did such a great job, they found out what it's like to be a police officer. Yeah, they took some heat from some of you folks. I can leave my car here. I can do whatever I want. You can't tell me I can't park here. And these 16-year-old explorers did a phenomenal job of security. And by the way, many of them were up on security patrol all night long for the 2 nights of the Jamboree. They were up all night long, and that's tremendous. Is Sergeant Welch here? He's probably up there now taking care of things. Joe DiMartino took care of all of our utilities and all the amazing things that went on here in terms of the electricity. Carl Bankston, is Carl here? He was on my left, way over. My left. Where's Carl? There he is. Carl was the head commissioner, had a staff of several, 10 or a dozen commissioners working with him to make sure that your stay up in the campsite was a good one. Jack Basha here, the advisor to the Order of the Arrow, overseeing the Service Corps and the VIP guides and all those things. Tremendous. Kevin Moyer. Is Kevin here by any chance? Kevin was, we called him our procurement chairman. He was our scrounge. And let me tell you, the guy, he just took days off of work, little things. The plywood that you see covering the stage, which he got like a week ago, he got a truckload of plywood donated. I mean, the guy just went out and got everything that we needed so that we could charge you the $8 or $10 this weekend, which some of you probably thought was steep, but if we charged you what it cost in terms of donations, probably would have been about $50 a person, at least. So thanks to Kevin, in large part, that cost was kept down. Terry Stonehar and her crew, the registrar, try to register 1,000 people, all of whom want to be registered now. We want it now. And it was her birthday yesterday, too, and she was doing all of these things. It's tremendous. Dot Pendergast, who ran our trading post, all those hats and T-shirts, and they're looking good on you guys now. That was a tremendous operation to set the whole thing up and take it all down in one day. Jack O'Donnell, over in the concession booth, along with Dave Van Wart and all the people who worked over there. Where's Jack? Give a wave, Jack. There he is. Pumping out all those hamburgers and everything. It was tremendous. The assistant scout executive, Rick Carlson, standing right down here. Didn't have a job, just did everything. Maybe that came out wrong. Didn't have a specific job, just did everything. I think that pretty much says it. And all of you, I'd like, and I know a lot of people have already gone home or they're up in the campsites, just the adults now. If you participated in any way as a committee member, either on the council level or for your unit's display, would you please stand up for just a minute? Adults who participated either for 9 months or for 2 hours, doesn't matter. Look at this, look at this. And some people are saying, I'm not going to stand up. Next time you hear somebody say, hey, this country isn't a very good place, people don't care about the good things, you remember all these people and you remember yourself. Also, just to wind up the thanks, we have to say again, a special thank you to Osbornedale State Park, who doesn't allow camping. They don't allow camping, but they made an exception for us. They arranged a Toby buff, rolled out the red carpet, little things you don't know. With some of the rain we had this week, they were up there mowing all those fields for us so that we wouldn't have 3-foot grass and all the things that go along with that. And the city of Derby, who don't allow people to use their football field for things other than football, rolled out everything, the high school, the police for the governor, everything here, right down to the trash bags. They brought us a dump truck so we wouldn't have to hire or rent a dumpster. I mean, everything. They wouldn't let us do anything. It was just tremendous what the city of Derby did for us. They did things that we didn't even ask them to do, and particularly the highway superintendent, Gary Parker, who, of course, is an Eagle Scout. And while there are several corporations and businesses in the valley who did all kinds of things for us, perhaps the one that is most worthy of recognition is Telemedia, a cable TV company, who not only assisted with all the live video that you saw last night, but has been, in fact, are we down? Is this Telemedia? No. All right, but they've been doing, filming the entire Jubilee, and it's going to be on the Telemedia station. Do we have a time? It will be announced, and for those of you who are interested in perhaps picking up a video of the Jubilee or the Jubilee show, we've had several requests, so we're going to try to make them available. There'll be a slight charge just to cover the tape and whatever, but we'll have those available. Give us a couple, 3 weeks, and then you can start bugging us at the Scout office. About 4 weeks, I'm told, and we'll have those for you. I'm sorry I forgot some folks, or I neglected to mention some folks, but I'll tell you, from the very bottom of my heart, I thank you all. Now, the final guy was the Jubilee chairman, the chief, and he's the guy who tied this all together, and what an even-tempered person, because he had to take a lot of abuse over the last 10 months. And we're right here, Dick Dormer. How about a big hand for Dick Dormer? And of course, all of our leaders and all the PACs, all the troops, all the posts, and our Council Executive Board, including Council President John Barrett, who's right here. Thank you very much. I don't have much of a voice left, but I was asked to just do something else. Could you all rise, please? As is traditional with a lot of scouting events, certainly in this council, we'd like to end with the singing of Scout Vespers. Many of you know it, and some of you don't. Those of you who don't, we would like you to just hum along with us. You'll recognize the tune. It goes, it's O Tannenbaum or O Christmas Tree, and you'll know the tune. Those of you who do, why don't you cross your arms and grab the hand of the person next to you in true scouting spirit. The scouting spirit will flow from one person to another as we sing this song and as we go back home this afternoon. And I don't think I'll use the mic. I'm not going to do a solo. Softly falls the Scout should ask, have I done my labor done my name? When I give mercy tonight, have I done, have I lived everything to be done? Have I did Sounds good as a round. May the great Scoutmaster of all Scouts watch over us and protect us until we meet again. The final comments. In fact, I'll let Bob Singletary introduce the final speaker. Last person to speak, to dismiss us, is our chief, Dick Dormer.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for being part of this and sharing the opportunity with us. Well, I have had the privilege of being the chief, and these fellows up here have had the privilege of being the vice chief. The real chiefs and vice chiefs are standing right out here ahead of us, and I want to thank you very, very much, and a special Mother's Day happiness to the moms. I thank you all again for coming. The 75th Diamond Jubilee of Housatonic Council, Boy Scouts of America, is now over. We will see you all at the Housatonic Council Centennial 2020. I may not be here, but I'll try. Thank you.
Have a safe trip home, and Mom, don't forget to come by the fence where
Bob Singletary has your gift for each and every mom. These gifts are only for the moms. Scouts, don't come by and ask to pick one up to bring home to mom. For the moms who are here and gave up their Mother's Day to be here.